What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins, logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And welcome to my video guide for Beatrix event, Roses of May, and this is going to be on the Chaos difficulty fight. And of course, before we start, like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does really help my channel guys, and I really do appreciate all the support that you guys give me. Now without further ado, let's start this video. Now, as always, we'll start this off with the abilities, weaknesses, resistances, and the elements that the last boss can absorb, and this time around it's going to be on the MARILITH GLORIA. Now, the MARILITH GLORIA does have one weakness, which is the thunder element. It doesn't have any resistances nor elements that it can absorb. Now, as for its abilities, it has a recast ability called Kakara of Effacement. I hope I pronounced that right. Basically, this will give her a brave if her brave is below her initial brave, and will do a AoE magic brave plus HP attack. She does have access to a normal brave attack, which is going to be a melee brave attack, slash, which is going to be a physical HP attack, Firaga, which is a fire magic brave attack, pouring rods, which is an AoE range brave attack, Absolute Chaos, which is a melee brave attack, plus brave gain, and will have a high turn rate upon breaking and attacking against broken targets. Next is Advent of Trials, which is going to be an AoE magic brave attack, and will inflict the life hex debuff on its targets, and will give the MARILITH GLORIA a lot of buffs, including attack up, defense up, speed up, initial brave up, max brave up, critical rate up buffs, and this will also have a high turn rate upon breaking a target or attacking a broken target. Next up, it has Abyssal Whirl, which basically recovers itself from its break status and will do a melee brave plus HP attack. This will also inflict a defense down debuff and will have a higher turn rate upon breaking a target or attacking a broken target. Next is Radiant Vigor. Basically, this is going to give the boss an all stat up, and the plus variant, which just further raises its stats. Next and finally, I should say, it is immune to initial brave down and the poison debuff. Okay, so now we can move forward to the general tips and guide, and for this one, the first one is going to be save about 70% of your abilities for the final wave. Now, this isn't exactly necessary. The boss themselves, I feel like, don't really have that high amount of HP. However, you are fighting two of the MARILITH GLORIA, and I would say you can go all out in this one, but if you want a much safer run, maybe, yeah, save about 70% of your abilities for the final wave. Of course, you can go less than that if you're really confident in your party composition. Now, the next one is to bring in the boosted characters. Now, we have 4 very good characters here that you can bring: Beatrix, Steiner, Vanille, and of course Vayne, which we just got with the Lost Chapter. Other characters that you might want to consider if you don't have any of these are Warrior of Light, Bosch, Kryl, Setzer, Edge, Yuri, Sarah, Tifa, Agrias, Lulu, Paladin, Cecil, Zack, Emperor, Balfir, Yuffie, Noctis, Arnea, Sephiroth, Golbez, or even Jet. And, you know, basically, you can bring whoever you want, to be completely honest, as long as they are chaos viable, and because the boss doesn't have any resistances or any elements that it can absorb. So if you have the right party composition, you should be fine. The next one here is going to be for your healers plus brave battery option. Of course, you still have Charlotta, which probably is the getting lower in the bracket now. I would say Penelo is in the high tier, and of course Ishtola as well. Rosa is still pretty good, and Ignis is okay. Eiko Rem is there as well. Now, as for the summon, I gotta say that I did bring Ramuh in this one, but you can definitely bring any summon that you want. My second choice would have been Shiva. I just wanted to take advantage of the boss's weakness to thunder, and that's basically it. That's why I brought Ramuh instead of Shiva. Okay, now let's move on to the general strategies for this fight, and of course we'll start this off with the friend support. You do have 2 options here: Arnea for a more offensive support and sets her for a more slightly defensive support and a much safer support, I would say. Now Aranea is obviously pretty strong, I have to say. Like I mean, she's definitely extremely strong. So with her delays and of course re-breaks and of course with AoE damage, you have to have a very offensive minded party composition if you do plan to bring her. Even if you have a much defensive party composition, I feel like Aranea is still going to be good. Now if you're having troubles with the recast ability, Setzer is the one to go for, but honestly you can either bring one of them. Next up is, again, Delay, Paralyze, and of course Freeze are going to be your best friend for this one. Now this actually follows up with my third strategy here, and basically this is revolving around that recast bar, and when it's filled up, just prepare for that AoE Brave plus HP attack, and of course have a high Brave count so you avoid getting broken as well. You can dodge or shield yourself with Edge's EX buff or Beatrix's buff as well. You can also bring Bosch to soak all the AoE damage or use Warrior of Light's shield to reduce the incoming damage. Now other ways you can deal with this is HP silence and blinding the enemy boss can work as well. So if you have Vaughn, you can actually blind them and you can dodge those attacks. So there are a few ways to go around it, and of course freezing as well will reduce damage to 0. Now if you have Aranea or Vayne, just use them. Delays for days basically, and it will be much easier on you as a player if you are struggling on this particular fight. And finally, of course, I highly recommend bringing a healer heal just to heal through the damage in case something went wrong. I feel like it wouldn't necessarily be a one-hit KO like most chaos fights are. In this one, the damage will be split equally amongst all your party members. Just make sure you don't take those AoE plus HP attacks like one right after another, because chances are you're gonna die if that happens. If you can avoid one of them, that's great. If you can't avoid the second one, just heal through that. Okay guys, now let's move on to the possible party compositions that you can bring for this one. And the first one is going to be a boosted team with Beatrix, Steiner, and Vanille, with Aranea support and Rama for the summon. Now honestly, you can change Steiner here to Vayne, or you can take off Vanille and add Vayne there as well. It's definitely well worth bringing Vayne here. There is only 90 turns mission requirement for this one, so if you have Vayne and save a lot of turns, that's definitely going to help with your score as well. Now, Beatrix is going to be for the damage and of course protection from that HP attack. Steiner for attack debuff and extra damage of course, and Vanille can remove the boss from the boss. Now, the boss does only have 2 turns for all those buffs, so it's not completely necessary to bring a debuffer or a dispeller, but if you can, it would be a much safer run for you just in case. Now the next team here is the one you guys are seeing in this video, and it is the one I brought in, which consists of Edge, Penelo, and Kryle, with Aranea support and Ramu for the summon. Edge is here for the dodge. Basically, that party dodge is very important, especially on those recast abilities. I did find that there was only one time that I didn't have his EX up, and that's probably because I was using some of his HP attack just to save a little bit on his ability count. But if you are using his abilities one right after another, by the time that recast ability is up, you should have Edge's EX up as well. Penelo is here for heals and Brave Battery, and of course Kryle is here for more Brave Battery, plus taking advantage of the boss's weakness to Thunder as well. And she can also, imperil the Thunder element, which makes it, make sure that she and Edge hit much harder than usual. Next up is D2 Save the Queen users. Basically with Beatrix and Agrius and Penelo with this one, and Arnea support and Shiva for the summon. Beatrix and Agrius can swap between themselves to prevent the recast speed from doing high damage. So if for whatever reason Beatrix's EX isn't up and you need an extra turn in order for you to use, like, I believe it was Paladin Force. Correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember on top of my head that ability that she has. So she can have that frame buff to avoid the HP damage. So basically Agrius can either paralyze or silence the boss. And what's great about Agrius is it is going to be AoE paralysis. She does have 2 turns basically to make sure that it is 100% paralysis. And Penelo's here for heals and Brave Battery, and of course, like I mentioned, Agrius can paralyze as well, and of course they do quite a high amount of damage as well. And finally, the last team I have for you guys is going to be the delay team, which consists of Vayne, Arnea, and Stola, and this is with an Arnea support and Shiva for the summon. And the idea here is just to completely delay the boss that they don't actually get a turn. Now, if for whatever reason they actually get a turn, it's gonna be unlikely that they're gonna make it to that recast speed, but if they actually do, at least you have Ishtola just to heal through all those HP damage that you're going to take. But between 2 Arneas and Vayne, it's just like crazy strong in terms of delay, and Ishtola can delay as well. So if you're struggling, definitely just use this party composition. Okay guys, so we're finally at the end of this video, and of course I'll give you guys my final thoughts on this fight. Now overall, I feel like if you have obviously the right characters to bring here, like if you have a very good tank that can soak up damage or you can dodge the recast ability, you shouldn't have any problems here. But I can see a scenario where you don't have any of those, and that would make this fight a lot difficult. I gotta say, you can definitely heal through it if you just can squeeze through some of the turns in between turns between the 2 bosses. If you can squeeze some of your characters in between there to make sure that they don't use it back to back, then you should be fine. However, if they do use both their recast ability back to back, it's most likely that it is going to be game over for you. So try to avoid that. Otherwise, this is a pretty okay fight, but yeah, I can definitely see that this can be a lot harder if you don't have the right party composition or don't have the right characters to prevent you from getting hit back to back. So because of that reason, I'm just gonna put this in the middle of the road in terms of difficulty. Anyway guys, I think that's it for this video. Please remember to click like and subscribe once again if you haven't already. It does really help my channel to grow, guys, and of course helps with the YouTube algorithm as well. And I really do appreciate all the support that you guys give me. Make sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter as well at Munchkins Gaming, and leave down in the comments below which team you use for this particular event. Let me know down there in the comments down below. Anyway guys, this is Munchkins logging off, and I'll see you guys in the next level.